Wishing you all good morning and realizing I was on mute. So good morning, everybody. Thank you all for joining us. We'll just be maybe 1 or 2 more minutes. And we'll get started.
All right, I think we can get started. Nobody in the waiting room right now, but I'll keep monitoring that. So thanks everyone for joining us for the monthly community call. Always great to see you all. Usually Tom kicks off this meeting, but he's out of the office today, so I'm doing the honor. And for today, we have some updates for you for the March release, and I'll pass this on to Kylie, who'll walk us through those updates.
Yeah, good morning, everybody. Happy 2024. It's our first time meeting, or second time meeting in 2024 as we get going. Little bit of changes going on that I'm going to explain here, but today's agenda, we're going to go through some security updates. These got moved around in order, so apologies, but some upcoming releases, some security updates, TractionRec for many of you who are making the switch from your current vendor to TractionRec, some discussions about product roadmaps, and some consistent questions we're getting in terms of editing. Avi's going to walk us through. So we're going to start talking through the upcoming releases. We are just a couple weeks away from the March 2024 release. In that release, we're going to be providing the new code for TractionRec so it can connect to Activity Finder. It is available now. I know there's a number of associations that are midway through their transition to TractionRec that have been eagerly awaiting this so that they can get it connected to their website. If you need it now, let us know. Contact us via Slack and we'll point you in the right direction. We are just going through the final rounds of testing with a couple sites to make sure that all the documentation is placed, but we can talk you through it if you have urgent needs. The weekly schedule management, which is not a API connectivity, but the replacement for PDF schedules in Drupal is going to come to you as well. Those updates that we showed you last month with regards to the event content type, a Y360 schedules integration for those of you who need it for your group exercise programs will be available as well. As promised in December, we were going to build out a little bit more to the promotion content type and add a few more blocks. So those blocks will make it in. And then some additional documentation updates in terms of search API for Layout Builder, and as well as two-factor authentication for the admins. So that is all committed into our March release, and we are really excited to be bringing that to you. In terms of the rest of 2024, and I know how important it is for the community to have a long running list, we're going to have this to you for next year, or not next year, pardon me, next call. Right now, what we're doing is doing a lot of planning for 2024. We've spent the last 18 months heavily working on getting all the new content admin stuff ready with Traction, with Layout Builder, with TractionRec, all that sort of stuff that everybody has been asking for. And in the first little bit of 2024, we're going to make a transition here now to looking at some of the not urgent, but some of the back-end stuff that needs to get done. There's some bootstrap work, the transition to things like dark mode, as well as some security updates and stuff that we have to do. The benefit of this, it'll give the community time to tell us how we did with Layout Builder, and we really want to hear your feedback through that process. So we're going to do a little bit of replanning here. There will still be some content admin features for 2024, don't worry, but we're just placing them in to align with some of the newer security and back-end structural stuff that we have to get done. So that's what's coming for 2024. We'll have June and September posted here shortly to share with you. All right, the next piece, I'm going to hand it off to Andrii. He's going to give you a quick update on some of the Drupal security updates that are coming for 2024. And the important part of this is you're planning for your website services updates as well. So Andrii.
Thank you, Kylie. So up to the next slide, please. So this is like a calendar view for you to keep that in mind. Our battle plan for upgrading our Drupal core and vendors where distribution is relying on. So right now we are on Drupal 10.0 core, which will be available with support for security from the community. I mean, from the wider community, from the Drupal community, up to the end of Q2, as well as Drupal 10.1. So these are aligned. We are targeting to upgrade this year to 10.2. As you see, it will be supported through the all year, as well as our possibility to be updated to 10.3 and next year to Drupal 11. Up to the next slide, Kylie, please. Yeah, and just a rule of stamp for all of you that after our Q2 release, after June release, please plan your site upgrades in regards to Drupal core, because after that, your current Drupal core won't be supported by the community. So in order to reduce the effort of updating, please plan your quarterly updates. Those are usually small ones, like updating models. If you hear something from our Slack or from our calls, those are important to do. And we received a lot of feedback from the agencies that by doing granular updates, you save effort on versus upgrading everything at once. So that is important. And third, the last but not the least, please monitor developers channel. We had 0 issues in 2023, but sometimes these hot fixes can arrive and they take less than 8 hours usually to apply against your site. So these are major like maintenance and upgrade suggestions from the core team towards you.
And most of your vendors will contact you if one does come available. So I don't want you guys to worry about that too tremendously, but just note that it's something that can be planned for, as you should be at least aware of, and we'll have to plan for if they do arrive. But we were very lucky in 2024 or 2023, we didn't have any. So fingers crossed for 2024. So we have been getting a very common question lately with regards to the text editor button. So Avi's going to walk us through how to fix that. Avi.
Cool. Thanks, Kylie. So yeah, I know the buttons are important to lots of folks here. This is making custom buttons in your text editor. And so when we transitioned, so just to set the stage, this is not a problem in the old releases. This is something that's come up as we transition to the new text editor that's coming with Drupal 10. I've gone through that in the past. It adds a ton of improvements, but the button stuff specifically has given us a little bit of a challenge. So in the December release, there was a fix that we added that was intended to improve that behavior. So the center screenshot, you can see what that looks like. It has this bootstrap button stuff in there. That was intended to kind of make this process smoother, but there were a couple issues with that, and it made it not only didn't work, it also removed that CSS classes field where you could add those classes. So we have a new solution in the March release, but if you need that sooner, your development partner can deploy that fix. And after you deploy that fix, you should get the CSS classes option back on your links, which will allow you to add those inline button classes that I know lots of people use to add buttons in their free text fields. So that's a quick one, but we thought folks should know about it and know what to look out for. Yeah, and I can keep going. Yeah. So as Kylie mentioned, we are deep into TractionRec integration with Activity Finder, and the work on that is getting through the first phase and just kind of finalizing a few details. So we've got that solidified. There was a lot of great work from the 5jars team with the initial implementation, and we've been kind of just kind of ironing out some edges. It's going to be available in the March release, but again, as Kylie said, you can contact the core team or your development partner if you want to start testing it sooner. There's a whole lot of stuff in TractionRec and Salesforce, and so testing is good. The project README. Yeah.
Okay, so go ahead.
Yeah, that's okay. I did not. The project README. Yeah, go ahead. So the README has some detailed instructions for configuration of that, and this setup is going to be a little bit more in depth from what your integrations may have had in the past. This is just because Salesforce is a little bit more complicated tool, and so it requires coordination between both your development partner and a Salesforce administrator. There's a lot of detail in the documentation, but that's going to involve both a key and a secret Those are normally parts of the kind of integration process, but then there's also a security certificate that will have to be uploaded directly to Salesforce. And then there's also a set of permissions that will need to be added in Salesforce in order to set all that up.
Now, if anyone thought that Avi right there was talking about some sort of like gossipy thing, the key and the secret will come from Salesforce. They are active things that we need. They're strings of like permissions or URL texts, right?
Yeah, correct. Those are like a big giant random string that's like a username and password. But that's the computer's way of having a very secure username and password. So all of that will be in the documentation that will be delivered with the module. And so, like I said, we're still we've got most of the details there. I've been working literally today on getting a few more pieces of that. So it's a lot, but it's going to be a really great thing. And I think the new functionality is going to improve. We've already had a lot of folks talking about how TractionRec has been super so far.
So for the marketing individuals on the team on the call here today, one of the things that we wanted to let you guys know or to explain to you is that as part of the process, before you approach your vendor to go about this or to start your integration, you're going to need to work with your internal Salesforce admin to get a bunch of these codes and information from them so that your vendor can actually access your admin through Salesforce. Salesforce is a large organization with a lot more permissions and controls than we've seen before with other vendors. And because it is so customizable, that makes complete sense. But you're going to need to make sure in that project that you have your internal organizational Salesforce admin as well involved in that project. There's a question. Are we RFPing next month we are RFPing next month as our DAX full contract expires in 2025. I'm getting great help from Tim Kramer, who's amazing, but would really like to see any FRD, BRD, and RFP examples you may have. So it looks like for the community, there's a gentleman named Skip in the comments looking for examples of any sort of RFPs you've done with TractionRec or with other vendors to start quoting different options. I'm sure some of you have it. If you could please help and support. Skip, if nobody responds, can you Slack me in, reach out to me directly in Slack, and I can give you the names of a few organizations that I know that are in the process of making that adjustment, and then at least you'll have some people that you can contact directly. But we have, to my awareness, I think we count as about 10 or 12 major associations right now making the switch. And we'll be making that switch over the next year. Some of them are already through that process. So there should be some good members of the community that can support you.
Thank you.
No problem.
And Kylie, I can
big
take the roadmap too.
Awesome. Let me just change the slide. Okay.
Yeah. So Shelly is on, but her voice is recovering from a few days of illness. So I can take the next couple slides. So the roadmap portal is still available. It is where you can find our future roadmap, what is planned for the upcoming releases, and also you can submit ideas or feedback. There's really great feature there where if you see existing things that folks have suggested, you can like upvote them, and you can see everything that's already there. So that is at ds-docs.y.org/roadmap, and you're welcome to come into Slack or make comments in there if you have any feedback.
Absolutely. Couple quick notes about that. As I said at the beginning, we're still moving around the June, September, and December releases right now. They're more up to date there than they are pretty much anywhere else. So that's probably the closest you're going to get to what we know is going to come, but it is still moving a little bit. And we'll have that formally announced. So if you do see something that is in September right now, it could get moved to June or vice versa from June to September. But we are in the process of updating that, and we'll have that to you by the next community call. Just a quick reminder on some of the community stuff. Avi, do you want to go through these?
Yeah, sure. As always, we've got lots of places to keep in touch. ds.ymca.org is the gateway to the digital services, and that has information about YUSA's product offerings as well as the distribution. ds-docs.y.org is the documentation for the distribution. We're always updating that and always looking for feedback. So check it out and let us know if there's anything you need.
And
YMCA
just a quick note,
yeah,
that documentation is not just developers documentation. It is training on how to use Layout Builder. It is there's a whole section in there targeted directly to the content administrators, and not just for the technical people in the call.
Absolutely. Yeah, we're always trying to get more stuff in there. Yeah, let me know what's missing. YMCA Digital Services on YouTube. Lots of videos. The GitHub, YCloud YUSA is where our code repository lives, and then Slack is where you can chat with us. I posted the link to join Slack if you are not already there. That's in the chat, and you're welcome to join us. There are a number of different channels. There's for Layout Builder, there's for developers, there's general channel, there's support for YUSA's hosted platform. So yeah.
Tom and Sandeep, before we close out today, is there anything you'd like to add?
Yes.
Yes. Go ahead, the floor is yours.
A couple things. Hi, if I have not met you yet, my name is Tom Gardner. I'm the Chief Information Officer at YUSA. Thank you for being here today. A couple of things. One, I cannot help having just celebrated 2 years at YUSA, appreciating this meeting and what was shared. We've come so far in the last couple of years, and it really reflects this community. ImageX, 5 Jars, and IT Care, the core team, working together to get the distribution on track and in pace with Drupal and where is Drupal going. There's so many resources here that are available to us and for you. As Kylie just pointed out, there's it's not just how to configure, but there's training in Layout Builder in the doc section. So one thing, and thank you core team, and thank you community for help making all that possible. I could tell you the energy level in the meetings 2 years ago was far different than it is today, and I'm so pleased to be a part of that. Second is, although it wasn't mentioned, I look at there's 48 people on this call, of which 10 are part of the technical team. And there's so much goodness in what we've shared today and what we bring to the community. And I encourage you that in addition to everything Avi said about how you can share your thoughts and ideas, everything Kylie said about that, add marketing. What can we do to help the movement appreciate what we have? I know you do. You come all the time. I know you get it. But how do we help more associations appreciate all the goodness that lies in Y Web Services and with the rich history of OpenY? It's all here, right? But 40 of us came together today. So as we look forward to the rest of the year and the work that we will be doing, I really look forward to hearing your thoughts and ideas about how we can communicate more effectively and how we can market what we have, because I think we've got something really special here. And I think because you're here, you kind of agree with me. So my thoughts for the day, Kylie, I turn it back to you or Sandeep or both of you. Thank you.
No. That's it. It is a little bit of a shorter and sweeter one today, but we appreciate it. We would love to hear your feedback on how we can get more community involved. February is typically a slightly smaller call. Our average number is usually around 60, but we appreciate you all for being here on this cold and dreary month. And as always, happy Valentine's Day tomorrow. We thank you for showing up. We thank you for joining us, and we appreciate you.
Thank you, team. Thank you, Tom Gardner, for the good words.
Thank you. Well done.
Thank you. Bye now.
Bye.
Thanks everyone for your time. Thanks. Bye.